Hello, everyone. This is Nick Allen with Better Together. We are back. Yes, our first video of the new year. We took the month of January off, just doing a few personal things, life, work, the whole sorts. So we're back though, and we're excited to share some things about some local politics, some statewide in this case, as we did a lobby trip over the January time period. It was really exciting. I was doing it with the group of Mesa Valley Education Association, which I'm a part of, or within there as a Mesa Valley Education Support Paraprofessional Association. So I fit within that category as a classified staff member. So it was really exciting and made me think about just how important it is to share with you all what it means to lobby. There's a lot that goes into it. There's the good, the bad, the ugly, but really we want to talk about what lobbying is, what it's not, and how you can get involved. So we're going to get started right now. Today's presentation, Your House. This is the picture of the Colorado state capitol here. Lobbying, what it is, what it isn't, and why you should do it. First off, lobbying, what is it? So, I love some old-timey pictures. This is a picture from 1889, Gilded Age, showing just how bad things were. And some can argue we're in a similar spot. So, in the background, you have your rich trusts and corporate bosses here looking over the Senate, controlling things. You see senators looking back and making sure that they're following what is asked of them by, the wealthy moguls, which people think of a lot when you think of lobbying, which is understandable. And you can see the sad state of affairs up in that top left corner for the People's Interest entrance is closed. But thankfully, while that still goes on for a lot of cases. They still, the monopolists, the rich and powerful, still have a over represented opportunity to change legislation. It's not the only thing, and we want to dive into what lobbying is from a people's standpoint and where we can still come in and have a say and not just let the big bosses run the show. When we look at Colorado, legislative spending, or at least lobbying spending, has increased exponentially year over year. Just maxed out at 70 million last year. This was from 3 years ago. And you can see our top spenders here. So really it's, obviously energy, a lot of healthcare sectors, business with, the chamber and contractors association, builders. You can also see some state, or sorry, county and local governments. So you have the city of Denver on there and Boulder as well. So there's a lot of different entities. It's always interesting for like intergovernmental lobbying, right? Your local lobbyists. The school district has a lobbyist. I'm not sure if, or that's for District 51. Um, Other school districts might, some cities might. You can always check that out. Ask your local rep to see if you have somebody at the Capitol lobbying on your city or governmental entity's behalf. So here are the top players from, 3 years ago, and that was 51 million. So they've increased it close to 20 million in those years. So what really is lobbying? You can see on the left side of your screen, this is a picture from the Colorado legislature. This is, I believe, the Senate. And then on the right, you can see the lobby. So lobbying literally comes from being in a lobby. So you have a lobbyist here who is on his phone, or it's probably above me here, on his phone, tracking bills on his laptop, most likely, and waiting for legislators to come out of the building and or of the room. And then you can talk with them in the lobby, you can communicate them. They don't want people, paid professionals in the room, standing over them, watching them vote. And this is a way to keep that separation. It's a very close separation, as we'll show you in some pictures, but the term lobbying comes from being in the lobby and has been that way since, the days of early Parliament, 1600s. Additionally, lobbying can look like this, providing testimony on a bill. It can really, the cool thing in the state of Colorado is you can testify remotely. I've done it myself. It's a pretty straightforward process. You can sign up online, and really, it's about sharing your experience. Everyone talks about the hundreds of bills that are put forward in a legislative session, and a lot of them have things to do with you. And when you are passionate, when you identify something that you care about, it's a great opportunity to go. If you can go to the Capitol, even better. But thankfully, again, in Colorado, you can testify at your house. Just, pull up your phone, or you can do it on a camera like the one we have here, and just provide your testimony to committee members who will then vote on that bill and send it up to the next level. So lobbying can be really powerful. It can be the way that you can connect most directly to the decision makers. So obviously it's got some bad ties and can be misused, like anything can be misused and abused, but it's also doesn't mean we should just toss it out, because it's a tool for people to use and to leverage. So what it's not all nefarious. It's not cloak and dagger. It's, you know, sharing and communicating with legislators your priorities. Again, some industry can really outspend the grassroots, and that will affect things. That does make it feel a lot more cloak and dagger, a lot more, in this next picture, locked out. Like, I can't be part of this process. And we should be, because it's our legislature, it's our house. We are the ones that are paying the tax dollars. So many entities from outside of our state spend money to lobby our representatives. So, what I've noticed on our trips to lobby, and I've lobbied probably 5 times now. I've been to the Capitol either as like a member of an organization, or a staff member of that organization. And every time, especially from, we cover West Slope politics, they're so excited to see you, because all day, every day, they deal with people in suits. They deal with, folks bringing in 100K plus, just to be a lobbyist. And again, there's some great people that do that. There's some not so great people that do that. But they kind of get used to those folks, and they know exactly what's going to be said and who's going to come after me for my vote. But when the people show up, when their constituents show up, they always brighten up. They're so excited to see them, because that's who they represent. And especially when you are, 4 hours drive away and over mountains, they don't expect you to come out because they know how hard it is. But that's what makes it even more important that you do, because you can have so much power in having a presence. And folks from that represent other constituencies are generally happy to still talk with you, especially if they're in, positions of leadership, like speakers of the House or minority leaders, things like that. They're just happy to communicate with more parts of Colorado, which is great. So, it's not a locked down process. It's actually quite open. You can just walk in, go through the metal detectors, and then start meeting with legislators, be in the lobby. So why should you do it? So this picture comes from the experience that I just recently did with the Colorado Education Association. They did a rural lobby day. It was a statewide effort to bring educators and educational staff like myself to the Capitol. And every lobby day I've been on starts the same way. You either do it the night before or the day of, and this is us preparing. So we're looking over different legislative materials. We're going over talking points for things that we want to push forward For this one, it's really voicing our support for a ballot initiative to vote on removing the cap for educational funds that are collected. And that will really help a lot of our local educators here on the Western Slope. That's really just this formula that has not been working, since the 80s. So we're trying to lift that and put it on the ballot for voters to decide. So we were there to lobby that effort and to meet with legislators, and it was great. So you start off your day, you go over those specifics. You might get some, materials, some swag. We were writing postcards as well. You get a training on what is lobbying, um, and just really meeting with people from across the state that care about what you care about, and that's great. After that, you walk over. This is us standing in the cold. It was a very cold day, but everyone was really excited. They do have coat racks in there, so don't worry about that. You can always just bundle up and then get in the warm and nice inside and start meeting with folks. So go through the process again, real simple. Just walking through some metal detectors. Now you're in the lobby. So there's two areas. There's the Senate and then there's the House, and they're on opposite sides. And so this is the Senate. You can see the little window at the top. And right there is the sergeant at arms, who's standing next to the door in the red vest, looking pretty serious. And what you do is if you want to talk to a legislator, you write him a note and you hand it to him, and he'll go and bring that legislator out, or at least ask them to come out. So for us, we met with Janice Rich. She is the Senate District 7 Mesa County Senator. And so we just wrote this guy a note, said, hey, we'd love to talk with Miss Rich. She came out. We had a great conversation. There was myself and three other educators, and we just talked about what we're seeing with, you know, cuts happening in our district and the difficulties around there. We talked about some other budgetary issues that we're seeing across, the state, and what her position are or her positions are, ways that we can help advocate and align with those positions. Miss Rich really was talking about being in the minority party and the difficulties within that. But we had a good conversation. And the thing is that we tried to push is like, look, we're here today to learn and to help, because yeah, a lot of funds are taken up by the Front Range. We don't like that either. And we want to work with you, our representative, to make sure that that's more equitable, to really make sure that rural communities are represented. And that's what we were doing there today. So that was the Senate side, and part of the lobby is pulling folks out there. And you can just peek through the window and see what's going on, see what your legislators are doing. You can also go up to the top. There's some seating there. I've sat in on bills and testimony. There can be some really powerful moments going on, and it's worth checking out, because again, this is the people's house. We belong here. This is what we pay for, and we should be represented in. And it's a beautiful building too. Like, just on the face of it, it's a cool thing to see democracy, our republic in action, and it's really important. So that's really what it is and why you should do it. And then finally, you go through your day. You've met with other senators. I got to speak with Senator Cleve Simpson, who I like a lot, in Montrose. I've worked with him before on just transition work, local food and agriculture work, and you get to know these guys and gals, and you get to learn from them what they care about. Again, like always, we'll say they're just people too. They're folks that are in positions of power, but they're people, and they want to hear from you. They want your opinions. They change their minds. We spoke with Senator Representative Rick Taggart, House District 55, and that was a fantastic conversation. He was really excited. He's, hey, Rick, how's it going? Oh, hi, Nick. You get right into it. I got to introduce some of my other colleagues, and he knew some folks already that were part of our group, and it was a great conversation. He's on the Joint Budget Committee, which is an extremely powerful committee that helps really frame the budget for the state of Colorado. And he told us, he's working on the funding formula to really assist rural communities in their public schools and how they can get more funds and really balance out the formula so it's not just so dominant on the front range. And he told us, he said, please, email me, continue to stay in touch. If a bill comes through, let me know your opinion on it, the association's opinion on it. He said straight up, I might not agree, but I want to hear from you and I want to know your opinions. And that's why you do it. You get the connection, you get in the halls of power, you don't just give it up. You don't just let the large industry, the power company, the hospitals, the pharmaceutical companies just control everything. Because they will. If you don't play the game, you lose it. And they're always going to be playing the game. They will always outspend you as well. But they are not the ones that are feeling the most impact. They represent some people that do, but you are somebody that can go and you can share your story to these legislators to tell them what is important, how they should vote, and why. And no one can doubt your story. That's the number one thing we talk about in these trainings is your story is your story. No one can take that away from you. And that's good. They shouldn't. And that's why you present it because you can't be argued with. You can't be argued around your standard of living, your experiences, and those things wholeheartedly matter and should honestly matter more than just those with big money coming in that can just lean and pressure versus, really these representatives want to represent their people. So you have a great conversation, you continue on, and then you wrap up your day. So we got to do something really cool with a public press conference for the Cut the Rope campaign. So again, that's removing the cap on education funds for the state of Colorado, where we just continue to get hit. We're one of the lowest funded states, or states that does the lowest funding for its public schools because of this cap. And we want people to know about it. And that's coming up. If the legislature, whew, I must be out of practice, is if the legislature puts this on the ballot, we are going to help try and advocate for it, door knocking, so many things to really make sure that our public education system is fully funded. And it's not been for generations. And we are really, it's amazing the results we continue to get in Colorado in spite of that funding. So only imagine what we can do when we are fully funded. So do it. Do it. Lobby. It's great. If you're on the Western Slope, here's some groups that you can be a part of. My apologies. I caught a couple things. It's Conservation Colorado, not Colorado Conservation, and it's Cattlemen's and Cattlewomen's Association, not just men's twice. Anyways, these are the groups: Colorado Education Association, the Chamber of Commerce, Western Colorado Alliance, I used to work with, and they do great work in lobbying. Their youth group, West Slope Youth Voice, brings students out of high school age. Conservation Colorado, Cattlemen's and Women's Association, and Rocky Mountain Farmers Union are just some. Find your group that you can go with. I forgot to mention, like One Colorado also does a ton of lobbying for the LGBTQ plus community, and they do a huge lobby day. It's really exciting. If you know of a lobbying group, go ahead and just add it to the comments. We'd love to learn more about who's going lobbying. If you've been before, what was your experience? And just how important, this way of going out to your legislators, your representatives, to make sure that they are doing what you want them to do and they're hearing a different voice. And again, even if you are on a different belief system or ideology than shared here at Better Together, that's okay. We want you to go out. We want the people to go out. If you're, a working class person, it's hard to take off that time, but find a group that can help you get there and share your beliefs, and that will bring more power to the Western Slope. So thank you all for checking back in. It's good to be back. We're going to start setting up more interviews because, of course, it's getting close to election season. Midterms are coming up real quick. So we're reaching out to community members still, and we're excited to connect on more issues and really get back to being better together. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Special thank you to our Patreon members. We are 100% community funded, and your support goes a long way. You can become a member at patreon.com/bettertogether, and we have several options and perks, so check it out.